All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Coach Traylor. Questions, you can use the raise hand function. JJ?
Hey, Jeff, how you doing this morning?
Doing great, JJ. How are you?
Not bad. Thanks for joining us. What were some of the biggest takeaways from this game this past week? Does it start with that defensive effort or Frank's performance on offense, or some of the big things you took away after watching film?
Well, we always start with defense. In our order of the triangle, that's the way we always roll with. The 3 turnovers they caused were fantastic. Had some miscommunication early. They gave a big touchdown. That was frustrating, but the kids battled back. Offensively, I think you're dead on. Frank's performance, that's the best I've seen him play since I've coached him. Zakari not playing and JT stepping up, making the unbelievable catches that he made. Cephas is always steady, as is Sincere. Weren't as good up front as we have been in the past. Actually got, I wouldn't say dominated, but we weren't as good. We didn't impose our will like we're usually doing. But a lot of that had to do with the UNLVs. They were determined to not let Sincere get loose too. And they did a really good job up there. Special teams wise, I thought the return by DeAndre Taylor was as big a play as there was in the ball game to get the momentum back on our side. And obviously the 2 missed kicks by Hunter is very uncharacteristic of him. We had a team vote last night to kick him off the team, but 150 people voted to keep him and 0 voted to get rid of him. So he still got his job, and we're ready to roll though, Hunter.
Jeff, just how does it feel overall to be 5-0 at this point of the season? Is this something you expected? And then I guess just how does it feel?
Expected. I don't know, honestly. I look at it 1 week at a time, and we're just stacking one great day on top of another. And it just so happens we're 5-0. Every one of the games have come down to the last play, except for Lamar. I say last play. I mean, you understand what I mean by that. It's been aging on all of us. So it's kind of in our MO since we've been here. We battle every team, and it comes down to the very end and makes for great fan entertainment and short coaching lives.
Greg?
Jeff, when you looked back at it, what were some of the things that led to some of the issues, maybe in pass coverage or some of the big plays that popped in this game for UNLV?
The first one, pretty spoiled when people are asking about your defense. When our offense only scored 27 points, whatever it was, 24 points. That's whenever your defense allows 17 points in college football, they played pretty good.
I'm sorry, I don't know if it was on my end or if everybody else had the same thing, but it seemed like you broke up at the beginning of that. If you could, we caught from we're spoiled about the defense, but I didn't hear anything before that point.
That's probably all you needed to hear. No, I'm teasing, Greg. The first one was just a miscommunication in the back. We just didn't. We communicated something and we didn't get it all the way echoed. Some other ones were just some MAs, just some missed assignments, and it just so happened that every week you have a couple of mistakes by the kids, and it just seemed like both times we made the mistakes, they had to play call right there. On the touchdown, I don't know if you noticed it. We ran into each other. We knocked each other down. We had them covered, and we knocked each other down. So just a little bit of all 3 things. And they've got really good players too. So their guys made plays. So some of it was us, some of it was them. And whenever you hold somebody to 17 points and you cause 3 turnovers and you sack them as many times as we did, you're going to be pleased in your overall performance.
Is there any particular way to target improvement in terms of those communications or missed assignments? Anything you can do in practice to kind of iron that out or get that going at a higher level? I think you mentioned the same thing last week as well.
It's just part of the game. There's never been a game where it's not going to happen. It's never been one. There's never going to be. You're just trying to make it as small as possible. So, film study, points of emphasis. It's just, what people that don't that aren't here every day don't understand is it's different every week because the other team runs different plays, different formations. So you've got different play calls. If it were the same every week, we wouldn't mess up. But unfortunately, the other team we play against, they do different stuff. So we have matchup problems each week that are different. Some weeks we're better at certain spots than we are at other spots. So we're having to make different calls. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Trust me, if we could just line up and call our base front and our base coverage every single play, we would make no mistakes. And I'd be on here telling you we had no communication errors and we had no MAs, and y'all be going, but why do we give up 600 yards then? Well, because we lined up in the same defense ever stinking play and they ripped us. So it's a fine line always, Greg, about how much to give the kids and how much to not give them. And we got it fixed. If we hadn't got it fixed, I would say we got too much in the game plan, but we got it fixed, and we were good from after that first big bust.
JJ.
Jeff, what's the status of Zakari Franklin?
Well, no, we thought he could have played Saturday. I just didn't want to risk it. So we'll see how he looks this week and make another game time decision. He always says he's good to go. He was pretty upset that I didn't let him play Saturday. I just would have felt guilty my whole life if I'd have gone out there and got that kid injured. I just think he's been playing through a lot right now with 2 different injuries, and I want to get him just well for conference. We don't have our open week for still another month away. So I try to give him an open week this week. And luckily, Frank had his very best game, and JT Clark really stepped up. And how that wasn't an ESPN play of the day, I'll never know. That was an incredible catch in the back of the end zone, right in front of another packed student section. Keep the taquitos and pizza coming, whatever it takes to keep those kids coming to the game, man. We got to teach them when to cheer and when not to, JJ. They're loud. We're down there with a ball in our hands. We got to be quiet down there. JJ, help me out.
Greg.
Jeff, what did you make of the way DeAndre Taylor played against UNLV? Did you see a difference compared to some of his previous games earlier this season?
No, he plays that way every day in practice, every game. It just so happened that the plays came to him, so y'all noticed him more. But he does that every single week. He is the epitome of perfect effort. He's probably too small and all those things people want to say about him, but man, he represents the city of Shiner at all times, man. He is a ball playing Jesse. He's a joy to coach, and he loves football. And we'll ride all day with number 7 now. He can play.
Yeah, you mentioned for a linebacker, he's probably a little bit undersized compared to what you would typically see. How did you guys kind of settle him into that role when you first got here and you got used to working with him?
He just bought into the culture from the very beginning. I mean, he really has been one of our, he's been a single-digit guy now 2 years in a row, and he is all in. He has helped me flip this program, just how much he's been bought in, how much he believes in us, and he's the epitome of what we're about. I mean, he's a joy to watch. I mean, I would, if I were a spectator, he'd be one of the guys be a guy I'd watch.
And we're seeing him at kick returner for the first time this year, and he made a pretty big impact play on Saturday. How did you guys get him into that spot, or was that something he wanted to do? How did that come together?
It's the great thing about recruiting small town football players. They come from smaller schools. They play both ways. So he's had the ball in his hands. He was a good offensive player in high school. So he told me he was, and I just wanted to look at him back there, and he was right. He's a really good football player. So he makes great decisions back there. He hasn't made a bad choice yet back there. When to bring it out, when not to bring it out. His decisions have been just spot on. So he's really good at that as well, Greg.
JJ.
Jeff, you guys got some more votes this week in the AP poll. Does that mean anything to you guys, or is that just something for the fans to jump on board?
Well, we're not going to talk about it because it's something we can't control. Last week's culture pillar was trust the process, which means control the controllables. We can't control that. We do understand for our university, President Amy states it over and over, we're the front porch of the university, helps our basketball team recruit, helps our soccer team recruit, track, golf, tennis. So it's good for us. The more we win, the more national recognition we get, the more people are used to seeing the logo, the more they're used to seeing UTSA, and it helps us all recruit. So we understand that. but we can't control it. We just got to keep playing good football. If we keep playing good football, we'll get recognized. If we don't, we'll be an afterthought.
The defense had another pretty good game against the run this week. It's several weeks in a row you guys have been pretty stout against the run. What do you attribute that to?
We've got really good players that play really hard, that believe in the culture. And that's where we start, is on defense every day. Now, I will say we're playing against the best offense we've ever gone against this week, the best quarterback we've gone against. And just so happens he's from Texas. One of the best receivers is from Texas, and the right tackle is from Texas. So they've done a great job recruiting our state, and we've got to do a better job of keeping those kids in our state and playing for UTSA and not for the Hilltoppers. They've done a fantastic job. They're really, really good on offense. Defensively, they had the preseason player of the year, number 10. They're a really good football team. If we had played Army, if we had played Indiana, and if we had played Michigan State, I'm not so sure what our record would be right now.
Are you surprised you guys are underdogs this week?
No, I'm not. We've only been playing football for 10 or 11 years. Western Kentucky's been playing football really well for a long time. And, you got to keep winning games for a while. You just can't show up and be a flash in the pan. And that's what we're very committed to. We know we're not there yet as a program, but we want to get that place to be that, where our fan base and people in the country expect us to be competitive every year and every week. Which is the reputation that Western Kentucky has earned, and they deserve that. They've been a really good program for a long time.
Hector?
Hey, Kyle, sorry if I was confusing you. I think I was choosing the wrong emojis. I was giving Coach Traylor a round of applause, I think, previously with that other one. So apologies for that. Coach, good morning.
Hector, could you teach my wife that emoji? I need more applause at the house. Could you help me with that emoji, please?
Well, apparently there's one. I thought it was the raised hand, but I guess it's two hands like this, apparently. And Kyle must have been thinking, what in the world is he doing? So, I'll get with your wife on which one.
Appreciate that, Hector.
Coach, I'm curious. What's it like to win and then have folks wonder why you didn't win by more?
That's a good thing. My locker room wasn't happy either. It's a mature football team. They wanted to play better. And my dad called this morning. He's like, why didn't we win by 20 like everybody said we were going to? I'm like, Dad, did you even listen to a word I said? I said, they're a really good football team. They've played really good people. And, most fans don't have the time. I work 100 hours a week. I mean, most fans don't have 100 hours to be watching video to know what the truth is. They just read the newspaper, make a 5-minute synopsis of the last 5 weeks of the season, where I get to rewind every play. I get wide angle, tight angle, end zone. So I know the truth. So we're excited to be 5-0. We're excited to beat a really good UNLV team. And it doesn't matter how bad you beat them, as long as you beat them by 1, Hector.
And then, Coach, kind of related to that, so I think a big reason why let's kind of put that expectation on and kind of look at those types of things and just kind of the real quick, just looking at headlines is, and I'm going to take you down a certain road here. You beat Memphis. Memphis beats Mississippi State. Mississippi State beats A&M this past weekend. I know that you don't spend any time thinking about that, but in terms of just the quality of the quality football that you guys are playing, does that kind of factor in anywhere with you in terms of what you guys have been able to do to this point, and not only being 5-0, but some of the teams in which you've been able to beat and getting to 5-0?
Yeah, but you know how it is. I like playing that game too, Hector, but you could also do it the other way. There's probably somebody there in there that lost to somebody that could make us have lost to the worst team in the country. When you play that game, it can go either way for you. Each week's a different week. You don't know about injuries. You don't know about matchups. You don't know why that stuff happens. It's a crazy game. It's not a basketball. It's not a baseball. It doesn't bounce pure. It's a football. And sometimes those things just don't go your way. So I don't know how to explain it. Some people call it football gods. Some people call it luck. Whatever way you want to go down that road on, I don't know, Hector. We're going to – I know y'all get tired of hearing it. What can we do? And today is an academic day. And we're going to be the very best we can be today. If we keep doing that, the rest of that stuff will take care of itself. But Western Kentucky's earned that. They've been a really good program for a long time. They've been better at football longer than we've been playing football. So there are a lot of people just now hearing about UTSA for the first time, and we just got to keep getting that where it's the name recognition and recognizing the brand is something they're used to, Hector.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Greg?
Jeff, it seemed you guys had a little bit of a tough time getting the run game going on Saturday. Was that just some of the O-line fluctuations or just UNLV's focus on that? Or what do you see that led to some of those things?
A little bit of both. They were very committed. Obviously, with Zakari not being out there, I'm sure they saw that and they were like, let's just take away number 3 and see what else they got. And, JT showed up and Frank played his best game of the year. They gave it to us pretty good up front. They were very physical. And I don't want to make a soft bet for my kids, but we didn't get them to Thursday. They were off. They got injured Saturday, didn't do any rehab Sunday, rehab Monday, rehab Tuesday, rehab Wednesday. So they got a light practice on Thursday. I walked through on Friday. They went out there and played. So, I'm not going to make excuses for my kids, but that's just the truth. And also they did a very good job of scheming us. And they were smart. They made us do something we haven't been doing a lot of. And Frank played really well, threw the ball around.
Beyond just this week and looking at the season as a whole, how do you assess the red zone offense that you guys have put together to this point?
It's been hit and miss. We were disappointed there those last couple, but I played very conservative as well. We were trying to go up by 3 scores, and I've got a really good kicker, and that didn't work out so hot. And then the other one, we were very conservative as well. Penalties hurt down there, the face mask, I'm sincere. That was a tough call, 15 yards, the bad snaps. We got to get it cleaned up. That's the good news. I told our team, the good news is we haven't played great on all 3 phases yet. We've played great on different phases each week, but we haven't put together a complete game yet. So that game's still out there. As a coach, you're always chasing that game. And unfortunately, I've done this for 32 years. That game doesn't show up very often, but it does show up. So we're ready for all 3 triangles to be great just once.
These last couple of weeks, whether it was the short yardage, like a 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1, or a goal line situations, those have come kind of difficult for you guys. It's been a little bit of a slog to get those conversions. Are you happy with how you're doing in that sense, or are there some things to focus on there and maybe approach a little differently?
No, that's just us, right? 3rd down and 1, Greg, means you got 5 and 4. That's a good thing. Those are good things to have. And then when it's 3rd and 1, how are they going to play? They're going to put everybody in the box in there, right? And you've seen from being around me, we don't blink on 4th down. We're going for it probably most of the time. So I hope we have about 1 million more of those situations. That means we're playing really good football. It means we're getting 9 yards on 2 plays. And I'll take 9 yards on 2 plays all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Is it ever important to work from under center in those situations, or can you do everything you need to do out of the shotgun?
I hear that argument all the time. It's just the reps. How many reps can you get? We've got a little bit underneath center stuff, but that could be argued one way or the other. It's great when it works. When it doesn't work, it's not good, whether you're under center or not under center. So it's a valid point, but we've got a lot of success back there with a quarterback that can really run. So when he can run, when he's under center, there's not much running left. When he's in shotgun, everybody in the building knows he might pull it, which makes everybody slow down a little bit on number 3. So it could be argued either way.
JJ?
Jeff, did Brendan Brady get banged up, and can you give us his status?
He did. He got nicked up pretty good there, and we were just being smart, being careful. 3 was healthy and rolling, so we just took him out to make sure he was okay for the next week. We'll get him treatment, and he'll be a game time decision.
How much does, you guys getting into conference play now and having these guys available, how much does that go into the decision process of, who's available and who you hold out?
It's a great question. It was a non-conference game, right? I know you guys want to win them all. We do too. And the yard parlay, this is like a culture pillar violation right now. If you want to throw one on me, I thought it's win the day, coach. I thought we're trying to be the best we can be today. But you do have to, and we talk about this all the time, JJ. We have to look back in the past. We don't want to spend too much time there, but we have to learn from mistakes in the history. You'll repeat them again, right? And you got to look in the future a little bit. We got to get some retirement money put back. My daughter's going to get married one day, put some money back, some college money back. But So to your point, I know I'm being a little silly there. We had to look at the Western Kentucky game, knowing that's a conference game where UNLV is not. So then you're weighing, well, if we lose home game, then we're getting the crowd back and momentum, and we're trying to build a program. So all those things I'm jostling in my head, and they're tough decisions. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for kids. 100% of the time, I'm going to do what's best for Brendan Brady. I'm going to do what's best for Zakari Franklin. And that's how I've always made my decisions in our 32 years. And that's the way I'm always going to do it.
What about from a play calling standpoint? Are there certain things you guys have up your sleeves for conference play?
You don't want to show everything, obviously. There's more important games down the road. You're trying to take enough to win the ball game, but not show everything. And we've only been as a staff together now 17 games, so there's not a ton of history of us together as a staff. So the more we can keep in our pocket, the better off we are, obviously.
Okay, Greg.
Jeff, what are the biggest challenges and stresses that the Western Kentucky offense puts on a defense?
That's the best quarterback we've played against. Bailey's really good. He's from Victoria. He can really throw it. We played at Houston Baptist last year, and quick release, very accurate. They throw it now. They're the best offense we've gone against. They will give our defense all they can handle Saturday. They've got great receivers. One of them's from Waxahachie, right here in Texas. They've got 3 really good receivers, and he gets to all of them. And they hurry up, they spread you out. 10 personnel team, really well coached, and they execute at a high level. They're crisp, sharp. They're very well coached. And I guess the analogy I would give, and it's a lot like what back in the day, Louisiana Tech, Texas Tech, those guys did years ago, and it's still they're doing it very, very well at a high quality, and they'll give us trouble.
Yeah, I was going to ask along those lines. You don't see this kind of a thing every day. How much experience do you or the defensive coaches on your staff have working against a proper air raid like this? Have you done sort of this kind of game prep in the past?
It's been a while. Everybody's got their own version of how they do it. North Texas has a different version of how they do it, but those guys that spread out wide and play fast, they're similar, but they're all a little different. Each coordinator has his own spin on it. But yeah, we've seen it, and I used to be that guy. Early in my career, that's what we used to look like. And I've evolved through the years, and I guess I've gotten older and a little more boring. Those guys sling it now. It's a fun offense to watch, unless you're trying to stop it.
Hector.
Coach, sorry if I missed this earlier. I know you mentioned not talking about the votes in the polls, but in terms of remaining undefeated, Coach, one of 17 teams left that hasn't lost, is that something that you guys talk about?
Well, let's be honest. I've been doing this a long time. It's much easier to coach miscommunication in the back and not proper angles or, mistakes on offense as far as MAs with a win than it is with a loss, because we're dealing with 18 to 23 young men. And what y'all say about them, what the fans say about them really doesn't matter to them. And it's just easier to coach them when they're coming off a win. So we've still got a lot of stuff to clean up, but it's easier to coach when you're 5-0 than the alternative.
Thank you, Coach.
JJ.
Jeff, you guys are 5-0, and a 6 win would be the best start in program history. Does that mean anything to you?
We just don't talk about it. Y'all know. I know y'all got to ask those questions, but we're going to try to have the best academic day we can have today, and that's how you get to 6-0, JJ. If we just talk about it, it's not going to happen. We got to go be great today. It just so happens the culture pillar of the week is win the day. Which is what we break on every day anyway. So we get the old double, win the day. So when I walk in the team meeting, I'm going to say win the day. My team's going to say win the day back to me. So it's always kind of funny when we do this. It only happens every 8 weeks, but on this 8th week when it comes up, when I walk in the team meeting, everybody kind of chuckles because we get the old win the day. So that's where we're going to stay, right in that lane. And if it happens, it happens. That's why I got JJ and Hector and Greg. You guys are going to make sure, remind me of all that good stuff. And I'm going to try to keep trying to win the day, brother.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
And thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.
Thank you, Coach.